Like, I feel like I can't say that straight, so I probably shouldn't be ordering it.
Or, no, they're chips.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and, of course, superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week, Chicago's Comic-Con wrapped up, Mike.
That's right. Wrap it up with the bow. It's done. Send it off.
Yeah,
and
that's
you went
right.
to it.
I was there.
Mm-hmm.
In that bow. I was in that bow. I was in the bow. Avengers Infinity War will make money.
Surprise, surprise, right?
I'm not here for shock value. I'm here for news, Mike. We've got that Solo trailer live today. It literally just popped up, so we're gonna do it live on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
And more.
Yeah, but you were at Chicago Comic-Con. I mean, I think I call it Chicago Comic-Con, but that is not the accurate name. I just kind of do it for clarity. It is called the explain to what C2E2 stands for again.
So it's CCEE, Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo.
Yeah, so they're not connected with Comic-Con International at all, but they're basically the Comic-Con for the Midwest, and then New York has New York Comic-Con, the West Coast has the Mothership Comic-Con.
Yeah, SDCC, there's Emerald City, Denver. I mean, this is, I think, one of the top 5 in the States, and I tell you, I love it. It's a well-oiled machine. They added metal detectors this year, and I thought it was going to be a jam-packed, mess to get into this place. And it was not. I actually was able to get in quicker than I would any other year with metal detectors. So really impressed. Really, really, really good with that, Mike. We spent all week in there. I just got back not, several minutes ago, it feels like. And we're doing a late recording, so we're going to do this and put it live pretty soon, but
I can always tell when you're busy during the week, because usually we keep up to date between the two of us, between news until we get the show on Sunday. But I feel like I haven't heard from Chris for a couple of days, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, he's in Chicago, he's at a convention. I'll get all caught up on Sunday. So I was just kind of waiting. I was like, I'll just wait until we're on the microphone, and he'll just let me know everything that he did in Chicago.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, once you're up there, it's a whirlwind kind of thing. I mean, you've been to San Diego. I mean, that's even bigger. That's. I wouldn't say it's worse, but I mean, you are waiting and hurry up and wait, I guess, is the mentality of San Diego. What I feel like, and Chicago's a little more laid back. So before we jump into that, Mike, did you do anything this weekend? Since we haven't talked to each other, I don't even know what you did. I mean, it doesn't have to be long. I was just curious because
the extent of my weekend was running around doing errands, because that's what weekends are for once you get closer and closer and deeper into adulthood. So I just want to live vicariously through you until my Comic-Con experience comes around in July. So, Chris, I'm ready for you. Let me know what happened to C2E2.
All right, so C2E2, my Superhero Slate / Comic UI experience was pretty good, Mike. I've got to be honest. So we go up there, we leave on a Thursday, and get up there about 3 in the afternoon Chicago time, which is, I think, Central, and we just kind of check in the hotel, get some local eats, and just kind of prepare for the weekend. Because if you're not prepared the day before you go to the floor, you're going to miss all the good stuff. This year they had a bunch of DC Comics actually returned to C2E2 for the first time in 6 years, I think.
Nice.
They haven't been in a while, and they brought a lot of big names. Brian Michael Bendis was there, Tom King, people, big artists, big writers, and you had to get wristbands for this. So the guy, one of my friends who went with Jeremy, he went and got the wristbands to get these signatures from these people, but they were gone by 7 a.m. for this thing. So
wow.
And the floor opens at 10. So it's one of those things where you hurry up and wait again, kind of thing. But he was able to get a bunch of signatures and stuff. I actually went through. I was not on the floor 5 minutes and ran into Tom Brevoort. You probably saw it on my Instagram feed. Tom Brevoort is the executive editor and the vice president of publishing for Marvel Comics.
That's a big guy.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there hanging out on a chair looking at the schedule, and I'm like, is that Tom Brevoort? Is that the guy? And Brian with me, he was like, he's like, I don't know, man. I'm like, so I did a quick Google search for him. I'm like, that's the hat. I gotta look for his hat. And so I went over and asked him, I'm like, hey, what do you know about the upcoming Century book? He's like, well, it's coming up. What do you want to know? I'm like, when's it release? What can you tell me? He's like, very vague stuff. And I'm like, okay, last question, is your name Tom? He's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, oh my gosh, so nice to meet you. I have an audio interview with him, Mike. We're going to put up later, so I can link that.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah, so we were able to get an interview with him and a picture, which was really cool. But, I mean, that was like my first 5 minutes on the floor, so I knew it was going to be a good convention.
Awesome.
A couple things, we did later. We got an interview with the artist Andrew Heath Design. He lives near in the town next to me in Kentucky. He goes to a lot of these shows. I've had artwork for him for probably 5+ years because I met him in Michigan. Did not know he lived close to me. And we got some interviews with him, some interviews with some people I went to school with. That actually they went to school with me and your wife, Mike. So
okay.
One of them was their first Comic-Con and C2E2 ever. So
I love those experiences. It's always fun to live, I guess, vicariously again through people that are going for the first time, because it's that magic that you just always want to recapture. Conventions are like a drug, kids. When you go, you just want it like it was the first time, and you keep going back and waiting and waiting. So
you get better every time, because that first time you have no idea what's going on.
Exactly.
So I this year I knew what I want to do. I want to do some interviews. So those are going to go live later once we get this edited. But I also bought some books and some pops. I bought Iron Man 3 pop and a Captain America Winter Soldier pop because I didn't have those.
Of course you did. I was just waiting to hear about the pops.
Oh, yeah. And I finished off some of my Ultimate comics I was missing. I have the individual issues, but not the trades. So now I have some trades, some Avengers trades, and I bought a 30-pound book.
Wow.
It is the art of Marvel Studios, the first phase of Marvel films.
I follow a few of those artists on Instagram that do the concept art for the MCU, like Andy Park's one of them. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the other guy's name that I follow. I think there's one other guy.
Granov?
Possibly. I only know the usernames kind of just when I scroll by them, but yeah, man, that art is amazing.
So it was a collection of the 4 hardcovers from Phase 1 in one. It didn't have the Hulk because I think that was through Universal or something like that. But it's got those first 4 Iron Man 2, Thor, and Captain America together in hardcover, and it's still plastic wrapped. I'm afraid to open it. But I was able to pick that up and literally carry it around all day. It was a weight on my shoulders. But the last thing I did was go to one of the Marvel Comics panels. I know you're not much of a current comic reader, Mike, but I know that
I wait until they're collected and they've been out for a while and I can get them heavily discounted. That's my sweet spot.
Yeah. So I was able to go to the panel where they're launching off Marvel's doing a new kind of initiative with new creative teams and good jumping on points this coming summer, and I was able to sit there and learn some stuff. And I think I'm going to start off with here telling you about Spider-Man. His black suit is coming back in issue 800 this summer.
Okay, all right. I mean, I felt like I was burned by issue 700 when we all thought that was supposed to be the last Spider-Man issue, and then it comes back for 100 more issues. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, but I mean, the last time we saw Peter Parker in a black suit was when his Aunt May was shot and dying. So he usually only wears it when something bad's about to happen or has happened, and he's pissed off. So I'm excited to see that, and they said it's going to stick around for a while. Have you heard of the Avengers of 1 million BC?
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
So there was a issue called Marvel Legacy, and they had a story arc from the Avengers of 1 million BC, which had a young Odin, the Phoenix of that time, a Ghost Rider of that time, so on and so forth.
Oh, that sounds really cool, actually.
It was really cool, and so far they are picking it up in the new Avengers series starting this summer, which will deal with these dark celestials and these Avengers who fought them back about 1 million years ago. They didn't call themselves the Avengers, but the team compositions about.
I don't think that word existed back in the day.
Yeah,
they were using grunts.
Yeah, it's really cool. So if you're into that, that's coming up. The Immortal Hulk is a series coming up. It's more of a horror Hulk story.
Ooh, okay.
Because apparently the Hulk can't die and doesn't want Bruce Banner to die, so he keeps keeping him alive, and it's a horror story kind of series. So if you're into horror and Hulk, that's your deal. New Daredevil jumping on point, where Matt Murdock becomes the mayor of New York, the deputy mayor of New York. So if you're interested in seeing what that's like for him,
all right.
written by I think I'm pretty sure Daredevil will be written by a guy who's a lawyer, Charles Soule.
Oh,
so,
all right.
So the actual like mechanics in there of legalities will be kind of true to life. Despicable Deadpool is coming up. I think it might be actually out now, but it's going to be wrapping up, and then Scotty Young will be taking over Deadpool #1. Are you familiar with Scotty Young's work?
Sounds familiar.
He draws they look like little kid versions of stuff. He's got a series called I Hate Fairyland out right now from Image. If you look up Scotty Young, you'll see. And trust me, a friend of the show, Brian Smith, he loves them young. He loves his variants young.
Okay. That might need some clarification in the court of law, but okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's the joke, because you can't say that at the convention. But apparently in the Despicable Deadpool coming up is like issue 300, and they got a world record for number of characters on a cover.
Oh, cool.
So like I think it's like 300 different Deadpools on it, they said. So
I hope that cover artist got a little extra for that.
It was his idea. That's the best part of it. So in the first 20 pages they said were something they didn't think they could ever do in comic books. And he's like, once the time, like the writer was like, once I said I could do these, I was kind of gonna be done with it. So
very tantalizing.
Yeah, I was really excited to sit in that panel and see all the creators and stuff talk about all this stuff, because they were really, really excited. And I'm not reading a whole lot right now, but I definitely, with the Century issues coming up and all these other ones picking up, I might jump on this Avengers stuff and see what's going on. So
yeah, I'm curious how this new Fantastic Four series is going to kick off, just because usually when they bring characters back into the fold out of nowhere, they're usually never not thinking about the movie universe. So it'd be hard for me to imagine a Fantastic Four story beginning without considering maybe how it could affect movies that Disney is buying the rights of. So I might have to jump into that.
Yeah, so right now, if you want to pick up that, there's a series called Marvel's 2-in-1, and it's following Ben Grimm and the Human Torch trying to find out where Sue and Reed went after Secret Wars. So that should wrap up and kick off Fantastic Four coming up. Written by Dan Slott, who is wrapping up his run on Spider-Man to take over that. So a lot of comic news, not a lot of movie news at C2E2, sadly. So. But they did have some of the Guardians there, and we'll talk about some of them here in a minute.
Cool.
Because they confirmed some of this information we're going to talk about, Mike. Do you have any questions about C2E2 as a whole? I mean, it was a long weekend, and
it sounds like a good antidote for some of those people that I always hear that conventions are being taken over by movies. There are still conventions out there that focus heavily on comic books, so that is very, very nice to hear.
Yeah, a lot of artists, a lot of nice people in the comic industry. Not a lot of movies there, but I mean, it's also the first one kind of the year in my book, but it's not the summer convention when everything's like kind of already out. So
and also movie news is almost predicated more on the schedule of the movie, not necessarily the convention. Like sometimes New York Comic Con will get trailers for stuff if that happens to coincide with kind of the October month. So it really just depends on release dates of things. So it's not saying that movie stuff could never come to C2E2, but like, you know, Avengers has already had like so much stuff out. It's not like they're going to premiere like a trailer at C2E2 for Infinity War when you've already seen them all, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they could hold the audience size to do that in this place. So I definitely recommend it for anyone who's on the fence. It's a good weekend, and it's not quite New York or San Diego levels, but there's elbow room. I get to walk around, and I'm not rubbing into everybody everywhere I go. So really like it. Really have a good time, Mike. So hopefully maybe one day you can make it out to one of them and just check it out.
That would be fun.
Yeah, played a lot of Pokemon, to be honest, too, so in the downtime.
Of course.
I think did you share this news with me, I think this week, that Stan Lee's blood has been stolen.
Oh my God. This news, this is the type of thing that it's just like, if you want to get away with something, do something so heinous that you can't even believe it when people hear about it. So I think maybe TMZ was the first to report it. I didn't read the whole article because I didn't have time to jump into it. But this is disturbing, and I hope it's not true, but I have not heard a lot of people saying it's not, so I'm worried, Chris.
Yeah, so this popped up a couple days ago in Las Vegas at a place called Avengers Station in Treasure Island, that there's some Black Panther comic books are being sold with certificates that say hand-stamped signature of Stan Lee using Stan Lee's solvent DNA ink.
Ugh.
So apparently, in this instant, the DNA was stolen by a former business associate who forged documents to get blood from Lee, and then has been infusing that with ink to sell like DNA infused comic books.
Oh my god, that is just despicable on like every level. I mean, even take the celebrity and the accomplishments away from the person, and just any elderly person, you don't steal their blood by faking paperwork. I don't care what you do with the blood afterward, it's not okay. So the fact that this is happening to Stan Lee, and also I feel like I read something a few weeks back about how some people that were close with Stan Lee were worried that he might have not be being treated right in his old age, and people are kind of pushing friends away from him. So this is just like, this is scary. I feel like it feels weird giving successful people advice, but all successful people out there, make a contingency plan for when you get old and you can't like defend yourself. Like hire bodyguards on like really long retainers that'll just protect the shit out of you or something. Like this is really worrisome, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, even then, like that, this apparently this person was like a former business associate who also stole like 1.2 million from him. So like it's even worse. Like, so like I don't even know if I trust bodyguards at this point. You got to figure something out sooner than later. But we wish the best for Stan. Hopefully, we can hear some good news about Stan sooner than later. Because
yes, please.
We need to see his cameo upcoming in Infinity War.
Stan Lee should just start like a podcast. He should just stay at home, like rest, lay down, whatever he needs to do, and he just needs to put a mic up to his mouth and just like start telling stories. That'd be like the #1 podcast overnight.
I'm actually going to go with more of a Big Brother house scenario where we can just keep an eye on him and make sure no one's hurt.
Just put webcams up in the house and be like, okay, the fans will protect them. We'll tweet out whenever something shady's happening.
That's right. Fans are going to take care of Stan Lee, and that's the way to do it right now. So
yeah, we'll just at reply to Stan Lee and make sure we include 911, Beverly Hills 911, LAPD. I'm sure they'll get the tweets.
Yeah, they'll find out. They'll probably be watching too, Mike. I mean, everybody loves Stan Lee.
Yeah, and that's the name of the show right there. Everybody loves Stan Lee.
Everybody loves Stan Lee. So yeah, so hopefully we hear something good out of that. Avengers Infinity War is probably just going to take over our news for like the next month, whether we like it or not.
It is. It's taking over my Twitter feed. That is for sure.
That's right. So there's new extended spots. I don't know if they're TV spots because there's like 2.5 minutes, or there's not trailers, but by God, don't fucking watch them. Like, I'm just going to put it out there. I know it's a little vulgar, but like, there are things in this you cannot take back once you see.
Yeah. And if you are new to the superhero slate, we let you know that we are very much against TV spots of all kind. Avoid them like the plague. If sometimes you can't because they're sponsored tweets or sponsored Instagram videos, just make sure you're quick on those fingers, scroll by as fast as you can. We saw that last trailer like maybe 3 weeks ago,
something like that.
Yeah, just that's all you need to see. I mean, honestly, we didn't even need to see that. We just needed to know when tickets were on sale. So keep those fingers nimble. Stay away from like comic book news websites if you can. We'll keep you safe here. So just listen to us. We'll keep you safe from spoilers.
And we won't show you. I mean, I won't show you. I've seen this already. Don't click on news links. You've got to like pretty much isolate yourself for a little while. And this would if Mike saw this, I know Mike would be mad. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. And the worst part about TV spots are they're not even on TV anymore. They're just there.
Yeah.
I can't watch anything. I've been trying to watch this yodeling kid in Walmart, and next thing you know, Infinity TV spots popping up on it. So.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So avoid that stuff. Just that's your thing. But thankfully, they're taking a different marketing approach to this for reviews. They're only showing 24 to 30 minutes of footage to reviewers and people ahead of time before the full movie comes out. So these reactions and reviewers cannot spoil it because they don't see the whole thing. And reactions from this, do you want to know if they're good or bad, Mike, or you just want to leave it at that?
I'm going to assume the reactions are positive, and if I don't want to know either way, like I feel like you're about to tell me they're over the roof or maybe they're like I don't want to know, Chris. Just leave it to yourself.
It's cool. I mean, any early reaction that was bad you would know about it sooner than later. But if I got to see Avengers a month early, you think I'd say anything bad about it, whether I thought it was bad or not? I mean.
Yeah, I would. I mean, like you would just. I would high five anybody that probably made Batman vs Superman if I got to see it early.
Yeah, I would.
Then like a day later, I'd be like, oh no, why'd I high five that guy? He did a bad job.
Yeah, I'd post a thumbs up emoji for Justice League to see it a month early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's that, but also we get to see a really cool look at the Avengers IMAX Standee here. Mm-hmm. And this is always very important to me because I have to remind people Infinity War is filmed entirely with IMAX cameras. There's no special scenes like the airport scene in Civil War. This whole thing is IMAX. So if you go see it in a regular theater, Mike, you are just cheating yourself out of some screen real estate.
Well, I'll be cheating myself out the first time around, but as I know, I usually dip into Avengers movies more than once, which is a big deal for me when it comes to movies. I don't like to go back multiple times. I like to, dabble in stuff I haven't seen, but I feel like I'm going to need a second viewing of this, and I will hunt down the biggest freaking screen that I can find to watch this again.
Yeah, if you haven't bought your tickets or you have, just make sure you go see it in IMAX. I mean, this is not a something to take lightly, I feel, and that's kind of why I keep reminding people this whole thing is in IMAX. This is unprecedented for a feature-length film, and that's just fantastic.
It sounds very expensive, Chris.
It's I can't put a price tag on it, but I tell you, there are people out there trying to put price tags on this. Apparently, Infinity War is tracking to make over $230+ million opening weekend, and we're still 3 weeks. We are still 3 weeks out. Just to kind of put that in perspective, Black Panther was like near 200 to 205. This is gonna crush that kitty, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. But can you fathom if this makes $230+ million domestic opening weekend, Mike?
I mean, Black Panther did better than its tracking. So we talked about this a few weeks ago, if you guys remember out there. If Infinity War tracks better than $230 million, this could be the movie that takes the #1 opening weekend of all time. The Force Awakens still has it at $247 million, and that's big. And we talked about if Infinity War can't do it, what can do it anytime moving forward? I mean, like, Star Wars is a huge franchise that came back from the dead to like steal all that box office money. I feel like Infinity War has a chance, maybe the next Avengers movie, possibly if they just make it even bigger. But yeah, I mean, $230 million puts this at #2 above Last Jedi. So this is going to be crazy, Chris. I think they're shooting for #1.
Yeah, I think it's different because Star Wars resurrected something, and this is the culmination of something. So, I don't know. I'm really excited to see where it is. I plan to watch it several times in several theaters, possibly in several states if I can. So,
well, just make sure you do it on that opening weekend, so it all counts.
My tickets and seats are squared away. I was probably the third person in that theater to get them, so I'm really excited. Also, they've confirmed this has like the biggest marketing push in Marvel's history, which to me it sounds silly because I'm like, this thing can market itself. You don't have to put any money behind it at all.
I mean, I believe it. I follow, just like everybody else out there, like I follow like the Marvel Twitter account, not really for hard-hitting news, but you want to get those like exclusive like character posters whenever they drop, because that's where they go first, as that Twitter account. And we have been seeing new character posters like literally every week for like the last month. And I've never seen that happen before in a movie. So they are pushing at every front, and yeah, they're going to open up big. They're going to just get as much cash. They're going to rob the bank for as long as they can until Deadpool 2 comes out.
Yeah, and probably even a little farther after that, to be honest. It's funny you mentioned the Twitter because the person who handles the Twitter is Ryan Penagos, Agent M on Twitter. I ran into him this weekend.
Oh, you did.
And tweeted.
I ran into him at Comic-Con like 2 years ago. He's out there, man.
Yeah, I see him. I've had several conversations with him, and I tweeted at him afterwards, pitching my newest cereal idea for the Infinity Wars cereal, because you have to have a tie-in cereal, Mike.
Exactly.
You can't not. And so I'm thinking like it's like Captain Crunch, but the little yellow pieces are the crunchy basic pieces are Infinity Gauntlet shaped,
Okay, I can see it. It's like a corn type of a cereal for the at least the glove.
The glove, and then the marshmallows are the Infinity Stones.
Oh, or possibly there could be a variant where the stones are like fruity pebble flakes, but I could see it going either way. I mean, kids like marshmallows.
I'm thinking marshmallows because I like marshmallows.
Yeah, I see where you're going. It's a guilty pleasure cereal. This isn't healthy morning breakfast. This is candy.
No, this is the one you buy to get the prize inside of it because you have to have that prize.
What's the prize? That's crucial.
I honestly haven't got that. Maybe it's different Infinity Stone shapes.
I think you just cross promote with Funko and you put those little Funko Pop keychains.
They're doing that already with some of the other cereals, like they have some like Elvira Count Chocula stuff, and you can get that. Yeah, they're already doing that, Mike. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I want the Infinity Stone, so you have to buy all of them to keep getting more stones. And then, then the box folds into a gauntlet itself. It's inside out.
Oh my gosh, Chris! I gotta get this cereal.
Somebody hire me.
You're describing it. You're describing it so thoroughly. I can already believe it's real.
They're always after my Infinity Gauntlets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into a tangent right now, but I was just at the store earlier, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch is now like making a shredded wheat type cereal and injecting it with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavor. So I mean, those cereal companies, they're stretching. They're trying to combine. They're trying to do crossovers with cereals. I've seen basically frosted donuts thrown into a box pretty much. I bought a cereal the other week that was s'mores. So it was like Golden Grams with like pieces of marshmallow and like chocolate cereal. It's not healthy at all. I feel bad when I eat it, but it's so good. So there is definitely room in the market for your Infinity Gauntlet cereal, man.
That sounds. I want it. Agent M liked my tweet, so obviously he's on board. So it's up to Marvel now to hire me and make this. So
yeah, that's a social media contract. That will hold up in a court of law.
It definitely will. Thank you for saying that. I'm gonna go read my Mayor Daredevil series and see what I can learn. And
yeah, there you go. Brush up on your law.
That's right. But Black Panther movie is still. Oh no, I'm sorry. We're still in Avengers Infinity War. C2E2. Dave Bautista and the girl who played Mantis was there. And I think Sean...
That's about as much love as Mantis gets, because even when those new character posters came out this week, Marvel tweets it in order because they can't fit it all in one tweet. And, of course, War Machine and Mantis, they're like the very last tweet. So,
well, I think... So the actress's name is Pom Clementif, and then James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, who plays Kraglin in CGI's does the green screen for Rocket, was there. And they were talking about stuff and confirmed that James Gunn actually wrote the dialogue for the Guardians in Infinity War.
That's pretty cool.
To kind of keep the consistency with the characters, right? I mean, I think that's great because Infinity War is more of a collaboration of 10 years, more than just, the Russo brothers who came in with Infinity War and went from there. I think having everyone be able to contribute is going to get a better film on the whole. So
yeah, Chris, I would like to pitch something to you just real quick, because I came up with this idea the other day and I feel like I need to put the idea out into the world, because if I'm right, I want audio proof that I was maybe the first to say it. So are you ready?
Go for it. I'm listening.
So I believe Infinity War is going to kind of be split up into space and Earth. We're going to have Thor and the Guardians in space. We're going to have our terrestrial heroes, on the surface of the Earth. And then at some point in the movie, I think the Milano is basically going to like swoop in and maybe save Cap and his friends from the Outriders, or at least help them hold back the line. But I think it's going to happen in a very specific way. I think off into the distance, when Cap is, when he thinks it's all is lost and he's not going to be able to tackle all of these line of Outriders, he's going to start to hear something off into the distance, off into the tree line, if you will. He's going to hear speakers. He's going to hear music, and he's like music. We're out in the middle of nowhere, like in Wakanda. What is that music? And then we start to hear. We start to hear. At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. Oh, and Lord. This is I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. So that gets louder and louder, and then right as the Milano swoops in and starts firing lasers or guns, I don't remember exactly what weaponry is on that. You hear the lyrics, and now you're back from outer space. It's just like the perfect lyric for like Star-Lord to swoop back onto the planet. And this song is on, I believe, the animated soundtrack for the Guardians of the Galaxy animated show. So this song could slot in very easily. I've been thinking about this scene a little bit too much in my head, and I just need to get it out of my head because I feel like it's not going to happen. I'm going to be disappointed now. But if this happens, I will be a genius because I thought about it before.
You set yourself up for disappointment here. Let's go ahead and put that out there.
Probably.
And then what's that's very on the nose. So
yeah, I know, but that's why it's probably not going to happen. It's too on the nose, and I probably wouldn't like it if it happened because it wouldn't live up to the expectations in my head. But I'm putting it out there. For some reason you guys want to do like a last minute reshoot that'll probably cost you $1 bajillion. That idea is free. I don't want any money for it. Just let me walk on set for the next movie. That'd be fun.
I'm thinking, actually, I know where the Soul Stone is now. It's the Trouble Man soundtrack.
No, it's in the Zune.
It's the Trouble Man soundtrack because it's that's the one Captain America's listening to in Winter Soldier because it's got a lot of soul in there and in that. So
okay, maybe there's just this weird, bizarre thing where like the record morphs with the Zune, and we're like, what is going on? It's like a Transformers crossover. What?
Thanos will hear the music and it will touch his soul, and he will. The Soul Stone will reveal itself to him.
It's all going to come back to that dance off. We're going to find out very quickly that this is the only move that the Guardians have. They're just like, we just defeat people with dance off. So we saw it in the trailer. Star-Lord was just like, that's a dumb plan. I don't like that idea. Like, let's do my plan. It's going to be a dance off.
And this is Captain America's last dance that he gets to have that he never got to have.
Oh, they're going to resurrect.
It's all tying together. It's all tying together. I'm seeing it now.
You heard it here first, exclusively on the Superhero Slate podcast.
That's right. The Captain's gonna slow dance with Thanos to the Trouble Man soundtrack.
All right, I'm so sorry, but yeah, it's great that James Gunn is writing the dialogue. That's fun.
That is really cool. Yeah, I agree. Black Panther still making headlines, still breaking records. It just became the third highest movie domestic, unadjusted. It just beat out Avatar. So I think Titanic and Star Wars: The Last Jedi are still in front of it domestically.
Good job, Black Panther, and I think it's about to scrap up some more money here soon.
Yeah, and it's also the 10th highest grossing movie ever, by the way. So it's the top 10 in the $1 billion range. But it's also the first film to publicly screen in Saudi Arabia in over 35 years.
Ooh, that is awesome.
Well, they should start with Iron Man and work their way through. But you know what? We'll take what we can get on this.
At least it wasn't the Emoji Movie. That's all we have to be.
That's right.
All we have to be happy for.
Who was the Emoji Movie? Where did that go again?
Wasn't that like Dubai or something like that?
Yeah.
United Arab Emirates, I think.
Oh man, those poor souls. That's why we haven't heard about any more movies going over there. So. Oh well, but Black Panther, I'm excited to get it on home release. I don't know anything about that, but it's still in theaters. It's still making money, and you can guarantee a sequel will be announced pretty soon. I bet. So, Luke Cage, the other African American superhero in Marvel right now. I know you're not a huge fan of his show, but I do have a new screenshot to share because we've been doing some interviews because it comes out in June, showing the Heroes for Hire, Mike. I know you also don't like Iron Fist.
Well, I'll just clarify here. I love Mike Coulter. I love Luke Cage's character. Just, the first half of the show is good. The second half was a little bit of a letdown. So I think Luke Cage is definitely, he's got something there. There is so much potential in that character, but Iron Fist, I think it's literally nothing. I think it's a hollow shell that I'm not too sure even Luke Cage can save. But I do notice in the screenshot it looks like they're both wearing a Carhartt, so maybe that's a tie-in sponsorship that Netflix is going on. But I don't know. I just want, every time Iron Fist says something stupid, just Luke Cage just like slaps him down to the ground. I'd love that. That'd be enough for me, maybe. I'm really excited to see the Heroes for Hire because I think the thing with Luke Cage and Iron Fist is I don't think they're, to me, I mean, the first half of Luke Cage, I agree, very good, but he's hard to carry by himself. And so is Iron Fist is even harder to carry by himself. So hopefully by putting them together, they can at least create a dynamic that's a little more different than what we've gotten before. Yeah, I'm curious how much this is going to be a Heroes for Hire, like 13 episode arc. Just because we saw Luke Cage a little bit in Jessica Jones, but that's really the only time we have seen a character crossover like outside of the Defenders. I mean, I suppose the Punisher, but that's a little different just because he started in that, and then we didn't know he was getting series, and then he did. So it's a little weird scheduling wise. You don't really know what came first, the chicken or the egg. But, I mean, if most of these episodes are Heroes for Hire, that could be cool. But if Iron Fist is just, like, going to dip in and dip out, it's just like, well, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. We'll have to see how Netflix does it. Maybe I'll love it no matter what. Maybe this will be the way that I end up enjoying Iron Fist.
Yeah, I mean, so they at least in this interview, they acknowledged people's complaints of the show. So
good. I've been acknowledged.
Yeah, so they at least know that the second half is not as widely loved as the first. So... going into that, we'll definitely see what that happens come June. You know the Secret Warriors show that's coming out, the movie, the cartoon one?
Yeah, the animated series. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's not a series. It's actually a feature film.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm getting it confused with Brave New Warriors, whatever they're called. Squirrel Girl show.
But that's still not animated, so...
Yeah, but then Squirrel Girl's also in it, so I get confused.
Yeah, so New Warriors is the live action, Secret Warriors is the animated one we've talked about. But apparently this feature film may serve as a platform for a TV show. So if it goes well, much like the animated Star Wars Clone Wars did, they could move to a TV show, which I think they will. I don't know if they'll be able to keep their voice actors for all of it, because, unless S.H.I.E.L.D. gets canceled, which rumors are it's on the up and up, Mike. It may get a 6. That getting Daisy Johnson or the actress whose name I can't think of off the top of my head. She's right here looking at me in one of these pictures I have.
Chloe Bennett, right?
There we go. Chloe Bennett. Trying to get her in this Quake might be a little harder, but who knows with this.
You may have told me this before, but I'm sure it was one ear out the other since I hadn't caught up with S.H.I.E.L.D. yet. But the girl, I don't know if she's a mutant or inhuman or what the deal is, but the new girl enemy in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that throws the weird boomerang thing, apparently she's a voice actress on this Secret Warriors movie, I think for Spider-Gwen. So, yeah there's some crossover there.
She's actually called Ghost Spider in the animated show for some reason. Don't know why. Right. But yeah, her name, I think in S.H.I.E.L.D. is Ruby. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then it's got the actress who is Agent May, who also voiced Mulan, is the villain upcoming in Secret Warriors, the animated show. So
I recommend catching up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I didn't watch... This is just for the proverbial people listening. I know you are probably caught up. I didn't watch Friday's episode just because I haven't gotten around to it, but I'm all caught up, and things are getting crazy, man. I mean, they have been crazy, but I'm like, where is this season going?
So once you watch Fridays, I'm going to need you to text me because it's going to change the back half of this season in a big way, and I'll love it. So,
oh, cool. Awesome.
I'm really excited for that. Another thing Mike, I think was the first person or second to text me about was actually the Spider-Man PS4 game has a release date now.
Oh, it looks so fun.
For September 7th. It came with a little trailer here, but I don't have that linked. But if you pre-order it, you can will get to choose between multiple suits to put your thing in as DLC. So one of them is the Punk Spider. So he looks like the Ramones dressed up as Spider-Man kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen some cosplayers do Punk Spider-Man, and it's pretty cool.
And you're going to be able to dress up as like a bunch of classic Spider-Men, they say. So if you have a favorite, they're probably going to be in here.
Yeah, and if you're out there unfamiliar with the hype around Spider-Man games, I think the last really kind of like standout Spider-Man game that people really just dug their teeth into was the Spider-Man 2 based on the Spider-Man 2 movie, but it was a loose connection. But they just really got web slinging right, and they are making a very concerted effort to make sure web slinging is just as fun in this game. And I even saw like a whole like trailer that was dedicated to the gameplay of like web slinging. So I mean, I honestly think I'm gonna have to get a PS4 just to play this one single game because as I tell my wife all the time, I often have reoccurring dreams where I am Spider-Man. It sounds very weird, very nerdy, and some people might be turned off about that if I say that, but like it is super fun dreaming that you're Spider-Man. That's all I can say. So hopefully this is enough of a mental a connection to you people listening that tonight you will dream that you are Spider-Man because it is fun as shit. So sorry for the language, but it's just that fun, man.
I hope they have a VR segment in this game because putting the VR headset and swinging around in first person would be pretty cool. Awesome. But there's that. Also, that month also has, what was it? Spyro the Dragon remaster, Mike.
Oh yeah, I heard that's coming back.
So if you're a Spyro fan and Spider-Man fan, anything SP starts with SP, September is your month for video games.
That's the connection right there. 2 letters.
Yeah, well, September starts with an S and has a P in it. I see how this is lining up. This is a cosmos aligning, Mike, for us. So. But if Mike says it's good, Mike doesn't own a video game console that's new, but it sounds like you're on board. So you would. That's great.
The hype is real.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. The Venom movie, we've got a new rumor popping out of that thing, is that Woody Harrelson will be the actor who plays Carnage in that movie after all. So
yeah, this is kind of a leftover, I would say, almost from April Fool's Day, because I did see this rumor, but it was right around April 1st, and I was like, I literally don't know if I can trust this or what I'm supposed to do. So I guess maybe if it's still out there in the world a week later, maybe there's a little bit credence to the fact that it's not an April Fool's joke and maybe just a normal rumor, which is also just very much unconfirmed. I mean, Woody Harrelson he's pretty crazy. I mean, I like him as an actor, so it seems like he would play, I guess not an older Carnage. He would just be an older person that becomes Carnage. So that could be cool. I mean, I don't know, man. I've been hearing that we won't be seeing a lot of Tom Hardy suiting up as Venom in this movie. It's going to be maybe like a second or third act type of thing, which is kind of a bummer. So
well, this is why you can't read news, because all that has been debunked already. So
it has. Good. Yeah, I'm glad I'm here to be debunked.
Yeah, no, that's why I had that in the news one week, and then like Tom Hardy and some other people were like, no, that's not true at all. What the final result will be is still up in the air. Probably won't know much, but I really hope to see it sooner than later.
Yeah, we need another trailer. I would imagine a trailer would come out after Infinity War, maybe Deadpool, once kind of that hype kind of wears off. Be like, hey, remember Venom?
Is Venom R-rated? That's the question. If it's R-rated, putting it with Deadpool would be perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna do a quick Google. Do a Google here. I don't see a rating here, so aiming for an R rating on a small budget kind of thing here. Yeah, that's all I got. So if it's R-rated, I agree Venom. If not, maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp to get that Marvel synergy going on.
Yeah, that could be.
So either way, I think Woody Harrelson, if he can channel, like, what was it? He was crazy in what was that movie he was in the 90s? Man. So I'm on my shelves, can't think of it. I'm having one of those moments. This is the remnants of C2E2 in a 5-hour car drive.
It's all right. People can Google it. He's crazy.
Yeah. Natural Born Killers. He played a serial killer in that. So if he could channel that, I'd be on board. But he doesn't need to channel his role from Kingpin, where he's the bowler. so we'll be good. Do you want to see the Deathstroke movie or not?
God.
Add this to the list of DC movies, not announced from DC, but just reportedly in the works.
You know what's surprising? Every single DC movie that has been announced or in the works or rumored all sound like a great idea if they just start over from scratch. That's the problem. They could announce literally anything going forward, and I'm not going to be excited just because it's connected to this really, really, really poor start. But, I mean, I guess that's good for Joe Manganiello, because we thought that Deathstroke was going to be dropped from the Batman movie, and then who knows when he would pop back up. It would be cool to see, like, Deathstroke, like, fight the Teen Titans.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know where I'd even put him, but I didn't like, again, spoiler alert, Justice League, he's in the end. I didn't like how gray he was in that one. I'd like to see a younger one, maybe. Because Joe Manganiello, he's still young. He's got he could pull off a younger one and maybe work his way there. But I think having Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke is a good casting role. And if you're gonna do it, keep him, and that's fine with me. So, but I don't think it needs to be tied into the higher, I guess, universe of DC. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just make sure his shirt is off in the trailer, and you'll get some Magic Mike residual viewership coming to the theater. So that's what you got to do.
Yeah. That Magic Mike, I mean, if they can sync it up where Deathstroke and Gambit come out the same weekend, they could just re-release Magic Mike and make it like a 3-way movie.
There you go. More synergy on the podcast today.
Yeah, that's right. We know what's up. We know what the people want. Have you been watching Gotham?
feel like you couldn't even get that out with a
I couldn't. I know you're not. I know a lot of people dropped off. But I've been following the news on this. So the Joker origin has this character called Jerome, but it won't be Jerome after all. You want to know who it's going to be, Mike?
Who's it going to be?
His twin brother. He has a twin brother, and that's what they like. It's not Jerome.
Wow.
It's his twin brother.
We're like, hey, we told you it wasn't going to be him. We weren't lying. We're just going to use the exact same actor who looks exactly the same in the same age range and every. Oh god. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I just thought that was kind of funny. I'm still hearing good things about Krypton because it's not doing what Gotham is doing, and they're like, this is what you should have done, Gotham, you idiots. And that's still blowing my mind that people are like, yeah, we really like Krypton. I'm like,
good for sci-fi. I like the rebranding that sci-fi has been doing recently. There's a couple of people that I follow on Twitter that are like legit like PhD physicists and like astronomers and scientists, and like sci-fi hired them to like, blog on their website, and like sci-fi like puts news out every once in a while, just like they're running like a news website like about like Marvel stuff and about other TV shows. So it's like it's cool to see that they're really kind of like diving into the nerdiness of science fiction, whether it's on their network or not. So, and I hear The Expanse is good. I think Magicians has a couple seasons. People like that show.
They've got Futurama right now, so you can catch your Futurama on there.
Yeah, so good for sci-fi. Really digging their feet in. I heard that I think they're adapting like a sci-fi book coming up. Oh no, we talked about it on the show. It was that like School for Assassins or something like that.
It's right behind me. Deadly Class.
Yeah,
and that's with the Russo brothers.
Yeah, so good for sci-fi. I mean, I don't have cable, so I can never watch any of this stuff. So maybe they'll connect themselves to like a streaming network. Make it a bolt-on. I have Hulu. Make sci-fi a bolt-on for like $1 a month or something. I do that.
Mm-hmm. It's on my basic package for DirecTV now, actually. And
cool.
So sometimes, like, again, if you need background noise, my wife will put on Futurama, and it's just that's sci-fi for us. And they've been showing a lot of some Marvel movies too. So. I like him, so that's cool. I probably won't watch it still, but we'll see. Right now is the thing I've kind of been waiting for, Mike. I don't know about you, but right now we get to watch the Solo Star Wars story trailer number 2 that just went live during American Idol when we started recording. We decided let's just do it live since we both haven't seen it yet. And I'm ready to watch it. Are you ready to watch it?
All right, we'll watch it. We'll watch it, and then we'll come back, and you guys will hear our instant reactions.
All right. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Oh my gosh, do you think Chewbacca's going to die on that train, Chris?
I do think this is the last appearance of Chewbacca.
Was Chewbacca hugging another Wookiee at one point there? Yeah,
there was another Wookiee in there.
Is that like his Wookiee wife or something?
It could be. He's 190 years old. He can have all the girls he wants.
Are we about to see like Chewie's like sordid past and like see he's like a philanderer? Maybe he's just like running around with other Wookiees, and maybe that's okay for Wookiees. Maybe that's just in their society. They can just like run around with others. I'm loving the Rogue One aesthetic still. Rogue One is maybe a movie I haven't really felt I needed to revisit, but I've always liked the aesthetic of it. Kind of hits that kind of A New Hope movie timeline, but kind of upgrades it with kind of fancier visuals. So I'm loving this train heist that looks like it'll be a really fun set piece. Woody Harrelson, I forgot he was in this movie. It looks like we'll see him as Carnage and also in this movie possibly. It looks
Would you say
fun.
that you have a pretty good feeling about this?
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, yeah, it looks like it might be fun. Like, that's the takeaway that I'm taking from this trailer, albeit it's just a trailer. I've seen great trailers and bad movies afterwards. It just looks fun. So I like that. I like that it looks fun. So let's hope it ends up being a good movie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he did say, I have a very good feeling about this, and that's why I said that, Mike. Because
okay.
That's the opposite of what he normally says. They always say, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Well, this is the origin of him getting that bad feeling.
Yeah, it looks really good. I think at one point someone dropped an ATST off near somebody, and like that big metal heaviness of it looked really cool. The heist looks awesome. I mean, it's not Harrison Ford, and you know what? That's fine. That was perfectly fine with me. They can't have Billy D. Williams and Harrison Ford in here, but what they do have, I think, is 2 pretty good actors, and I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited. I'm more excited for it now. Watching it, I'm like, okay, this is really fun. Like you said, it's fun. It's gonna be a fun heist. And I'm on board.
I didn't realize that all of our droids in the Star Wars universe have been male, because the droid that we get in this movie has a female voice, and I never put that together. So I was like, I guess it's cool that we're getting female droids. I never know that was a gender gap that we were missing out on, but that's cool. I loved K2SO and Rogue One. So I love it when we can add new fun droids to the canon, just because I always loved the design of the droids. So looks like this will be fun too. But this droid will probably die a horrific death that'll make me cry also.
Yeah, well, I think it's funny that all these extra droids are like very, very sassy and like have like very obnoxious personality. Like, these aren't your regular astromech droids. These are characters in and of themselves, because like K2SO and L337, I think, which is like, that spells leet, right? That's the online tech for writing the word leet.
Oh yeah, I guess.
So that's L337, voiced by actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I have honestly I can't pull anything up here that I've seen her in, except I didn't watch Broadchurch, but she was in an episode of Broadchurch.
All right.
So she's the voice actress for it, and she's British, so hopefully that'll come off really well. I thought it was fun. I mean, if you're excited, Mike, you might be able to go to the Cannes Film Festival.
I honestly don't think I'm going to be making it this year. I mean, I go every year. I charter a yacht and everything, but the yachts are all taken.
No.
So.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. That's what you get for working with charter, I guess. But this film will debut at the Cannes Film Festival this month on April 15th. So we'll probably hear some reactions from that and kind of go from there over a month ahead of time. So I'm okay. I'm on board with this. I'm on board.
This is a turnaround for us. I'll say it. We were down on this movie. We didn't think we needed it. I guess still we could hold true to the fact that we probably don't need this story. But at least if we have to get it, it looks like it might be entertaining.
I think Rogue One is okay for me, but the ending is way too like heavy, and it's just I don't think the ending on this one's going to be very heavy. My theory, I don't know if I told you this last week on the show or if it was just out loud to people this week, I think the ending of this movie will end with them in the cantina from A New Hope. And
oh, really?
It'll be like they'll be sitting at the table. They will sit down at the table, and that's right when Obi-Wan will be pointed in their direction.
I mean, that would be kind of cool, because it would be interesting to set a precedent at the end of all of these Star Wars story movies that it hooks into another one.
But yeah, I don't think we need a sequel to this. I think this is it.
Yeah, I mean, screw it. You might as well. I've said this before in the past. These Star Wars story movies should just do their best to just have fun, be creative, do whatever they want, because they're not technically connected to the main canon. I mean, I know they are, but they're just kind of like slotting these movies in just in the meantime while you don't get a Star Wars movie that year. So yeah, whatever. Do whatever you want. Just, make it entertaining. Who cares if I haven't watched Rogue One again? They got my money.
Well, I think also on this one, this is the last actual official standalone movie we have from Star Wars. Nothing else has been announced. So except for the main trilogy, Rian Johnson's trilogy, Jon Favreau's TV show, and the Game of Thrones guys series.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, they've announced so much beyond a Star Wars story. Maybe we won't see that Obi-Wan movie. Maybe these will just be these weird one-off Star Wars movies that were just like, remember when they made those random 2 Star Wars movies? Well, oh yeah, I forgot about those.
Well, they also, the thing is, they've had so much bad luck with both of them. I mean, they had to redo the whole third act on Rogue One to get it out in time. And this one, they had to fire the directors in the middle of it. So, I mean, they have had really bad luck with these standalones, and maybe it's just time for, this is our last one. We're just going to work on the trilogies going forward. So
yeah. All right. Well, I guess it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, well, I agree. So we'll be there. Indiana Jones 5, I'm not very sold on yet, because Harrison Ford is old, man. He's old.
How old is Harrison Ford? 75 years old. His birthday is July 13th, 1942. He was born during World War II, I guess, technically. That is an old man. Yeah, I would not be surprised if he wouldn't be jumping into Indiana Jones 6.
He was doing Star Wars older than we are right now, Mike. I mean, put it that way. But I mean, Steven Spielberg is bringing Harrison Ford back for Indiana Jones 5, and it will be his last movie. Thank God. Just end it, start it over. I don't care.
Now, I don't know this for sure because I still haven't seen Blade Runner 2049 yet, and I still want to see it, so don't spoil it whether I'm right or wrong. But Harrison Ford came back for Star Wars, he died. Maybe he came back for Blade Runner and died. It's hard for me to imagine him coming back for Indiana Jones and dying just because those are kind of fun adventure movies. I hope he wouldn't die. I hope he just kind of like the whole movie, he's just fed up with adventuring. He's just like, I'm 75 years old. I'm tired of being adventuring. There's this really nice condo that I bought down in Florida. I'm just going to go hang out there. Screw you kids. Go out and do whatever adventuring you're going to do. They just invented the color television. I'm going to go ahead and just watch soap operas all day and just drink cocktails. Leave me alone. I'm old.
Yeah. I mean, let him crash his plane a few more times. He's having fun. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what story they're going to tell. I don't know what they're going to try to do with it. Hopefully it's not a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull again, but I don't know, man. It'll be his last, and that's fine by us. I think that's the way to walk away from it. Speaking of movies that have billions in their lineup here is Star Wars, or Jurassic World, The Fallen Kingdom. I about said The Fallen Jedi or something like that because that's what it would sound like.
Oh, man, can we get lightsabers mixing up with some dinosaurs? That'd be fun.
Give it about 5 more years, maybe 10. The final trailer for The Fallen Kingdom has been classified. It's like 2.5 minutes. Gonna probably drop with Infinity War. There's precedent with this.
I can see that.
With the first Jurassic World trailer coming with Age of Ultron. Or the last... Yeah, you get what I'm saying. So, probably precedent with this. It's going to make a lot of money. I'm still not sold on Fallen Kingdom over the first one. So
screw it. I think they're going to be mixing humans and dinosaurs in this one finally, and I've just kind of like jumped ship onto this other crazy ship that has a way more motors, and it's being very dangerous and going in circles. So, whatever. I'm into it.
Mike, your boat is sinking. You're like your bucket of water. You're just dumping water out.
I'll just jump on the next one, man. That's the great thing about these Jurassic World movies. Whenever that boat's about to sink, another one comes on, and I jump onto that.
Oh, Lord.
Chris Pratt's there. He's driving it, so it's okay.
You're just on the Pratt bus. That's all you are. Let's not lie about it. Are you excited for Toy Story 4? Another movie that has a lot of movies?
Mixed emotions.
So the release date has been confirmed for June 21st, 2019. A lot of people were worried since Rashida Jones and her writing partner Will something left because of the head of Pixar was... He's one of those, is it the Me Too movement got him or something like that? Yeah,
John Lasseter doing some creepy hugging up there in the Bay Area.
That's right. So Stephanie Folsom, who helped write Thor Ragnarok, was hired on to pen the script back then. So that's why Toy Story 4 is 2019. I guess they're feeling confident about it. So
yeah, I mean, we were just talking about, do we need a Han Solo movie? Do we need a Toy Story 4 is like the biggest question that I keep throwing around in my head, just because the third movie just ended on such a perfect note of Andy going through his childhood and finally leaving his toys off at a new home, and it was just emotional, and that's the part where I cried. Everyone cried when they're going into the incinerator. I knew they weren't going to be burned alive, but when Andy drove away in his car and his toys were left there, that literally made me cry. Like, it makes me emotional even thinking about it right now. What a perfect ending for these characters. But at the same time, they've been making little Toy Story holiday shorts for a while now, and I watched some of them over the holidays with my family that continued after Toy Story 3, and I was like, yeah, these are fun. These characters are entertaining. I mean, at least they're not throwing them onto, Netflix and making like a series like they do with every DreamWorks movie that gets made. So, and then you have to deal with these weird other voice actors that you're not familiar with. So, I don't know. I'm confident that they can make it good, but even if it's good, I don't know if I want it. I mean, the toys are just going to be playing with iPhones and just making jokes about how they're not fun anymore. I don't know. That's my rant.
You're wholly speculating on stuff that's not even out there, but yes.
Oh, well, I mean, exactly. The movie's over a year away. I gotta speculate, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would want a third Monsters Inc. movie before a fourth Toy Story movie to kind of make up for Monsters U, because Cars 3 made up for Cars 2, thankfully. So give me my apology for Monsters University with the more Monsters Inc. stuff. I don't care if it's becoming a show. I want to see another movie, or even a Bug's Life. why don't we get into more Bugs Life, Mike?
Yeah, let's get another Bugs Life. I think those bugs got something new to say.
I got to see better graphics on these bugs than what
Yeah.
was happening in 1997. So,
Yeah, how about the bugs cross over with the toys? They're around the same size.
yeah, no, get out. No crossovers. We don't need a Pixar connected universe. That's already enough crazy theories out there about that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but Toy Story 4 is coming out in June next year, so we'll have that on our radar to-do list. Lastly, some Lord of the Rings news, if you will.
All right.
Apparently, Amazon's TV show, this is going to cost over $1 billion, I think they said.
Yeah.
No confirmation quite on that, but the TV show has a 5-season commitment already.
Ooh, that is huge. I can't even imagine what the commitment was for Game of Thrones when they started that one off, but I can't imagine it was 5 seasons. I mean, if you pay that much money for a property, I think they're like, these shows are getting made no matter what. So
Yeah.
you better hope that they're good, people.
Well, I think this also helps them plan out their stories maybe a little better.
Yeah, I can see that.
That way they're not like, well, we wrote season 1, where the hell do we take season 2? So if they do 5 seasons, they can like, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, have a general consensus and go. Maybe even film a bunch of them at once, kind of like they did the original movies.
Yeah, I guess.
Because everyone complains about Game of Thrones, the wait for Game of Thrones, right? Mm-hmm. If they're already working on 5 seasons of Lord of the Rings, they can start filming them, and so they were consistently getting them year after year at the same time.
Year-long Lord of the Rings, something you never knew you wanted. You better get Amazon Prime now, you idiots.
No, they're not releasing them year long. I'm just saying they're gonna come out the same day or the same time every year, like every April's Lord of the Rings month. Kind of thing.
This is definitely something we need more info on. We need like a timeline. We need like a region. Are they remaking the movies? Are they picking like before the movies, after the movies? Are they doing like future Lord of the Rings? Are they doing pre-Hobbit?
Space Lord of the Rings. That's what it is.
Or are they doing like tangential? I don't know.
Well, there are spin-offs already being talked about for this show as well. Like they are, since Amazon bought this, they're in the long haul. They're gonna milk this like nothing else.
Oh man, I know this will never ever ever happen, but I would love to see modern Lord of the Rings, where like Lord of the Rings happened in the past. It's like our medieval times, so it's basically kind of like Bright but done like correctly with a proper mythos that makes sense. So it'd be weird like seeing people like in skyscrapers that are just like I don't know, like eating like the One Ring cereal, bringing it back around to cereal again, like it's just folklore now. Man, that'd be crazy. I'm sure there's people out there screaming, saying, "Don't let that happen." But you know, I'm not a Tolkien fanboy, so
I don't think you know the lore. If you're already spitting this in there, so you just let them handle it. They'll be fine. But I don't know we don't know what to expect of this. But if they plan it out ahead, I think they can avoid the whole year and a half without like Game of Thrones kind of things going on. So
yeah,
hopefully it's good. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
That's our show for the week, Mike. We have watched a trailer live, talked about C2E2, and warned people to avoid spoilers for Infinity War. So anything else you want to add? We good?
Yeah, I mean, I guess make sure you're subscribed because you're going to be dropping some exclusive interviews from C2E2 onto our feed, correct?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be, with the Comic UI guys, I'm going to edit some audio clips with I took pictures of the people we interviewed and put them up there, so we can do that, yeah.
Rad.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. In the meantime, if people want to know what you're up to, Mike, where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to follow you, see what you're up to, see what's going on in your life. Maybe if you're at another convention, heck, you go to like arcade expos, go to like toy expos, you're at like C2E2, you're out there, man. Where can they find that?
I'm doing stuff. I'm doing things. You can find me on Twitter at Valdan. VALDAN. Actually, the guy I went with the C2E2. C2E2 just shared his photo this weekend, getting his book signed by Jim Lee. So
nice.
That's really cool. I'll be retweeting that. You can head over to Comic UI and you'll see all the interviews we did this weekend and some stuff as they come out. We're gonna space them out a little bit, so you're not like jam packed, but they're not long. They're like 5-10 minute interviews, so they'll be good. And you can find me there. Also, superheroslate.com. That's where we do all our stuff, Mike. If people like this and want to go to superheroslate.com, or where else can they find us? I don't even know.
Well, we are on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher. You can get us and write in your email inbox every week by subscribing. You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're out there, people. We out there. You can go to superheroslate.com/store to get some merch from the show. So if you want to be sporting us at your local convention and give us a physical in-person shout out to other people, you can get merch over there. If you're a fan of the show, we love getting reviews, feedback. We love hearing from you. We promise we won't be dropping anything on the microphone anymore, as we heard.
That was my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry for spooking you there, but we do our best to make sure the show is top quality. So we love hearing from you. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend. Share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week. So make sure you're subscribed to get those exclusive interviews in your feed. And, of course, Infinity War is coming up. That's basically our Easter Sunday, Super Bowl, Christmas, whipped up all in the one 4th of July. So, we are going to be on top of that. So make sure you're subscribing around here to hear us geek out or possibly be the most disappointed we've ever been in our whole lives. So,
I doubt it.
Superheroslate.com.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I guess that's really Infinity War. Come back next week for more news, and we'll catch you guys then.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
See you.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
When it works, it's like magic. But when it doesn't work, it's just it's a hassle.